Major League Baseball's trade deadline was a flurry of activity last Thursday. If you guys are baseball fans, lots to talk about and lots to sort of get excited about. Different than most any other league's trade deadline. Lots more activity. Scott, winners and losers. Give me one team that you thought really improved themselves for the stretch run and a team that you thought didn't do much when you thought that they would.
Sure. I think Oakland A's stand out as the clear winner even before July 31st, bringing in Jeff Samardzija to that staff. And then on deadline day, bringing in another ace in John Lester. And, I mean, they're set up for just a dominant run to go with that offense. On the losing side, I could throw Nationals fans as a winner, too, because I think the Phillies were a huge loser in basically doing nothing. When everyone thought they were ready to unload and retool with that old roster, Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, A.J. Burnett, Marlon Byrd, really their whole lineup people thought was going to be on the move, and they're still there. So I think the Phillies, really blew a great opportunity to bring back some young guys to build for next year.
Although they did split with the Nationals, which maybe that was their goal. Keep all these guys, maybe we can take 2 out of 4 against the
Still
Nationals.
make a run for that wild card.
Brandon, who do you think were winners and losers?
Well, definitely agree with the A's, and I guess if you go at the simplistic approach of who got the best player, the Tigers with David Price. You talk about pitching that will take you a long way, and it seems like they're all, as you should be, kind of all about winning now. So he only bolsters that rotation, and I mean, I'm sure there are other people, but the Phillies really do stand out as the losers. It's just like, what are you doing? Like, you can't. Maybe 5 years ago the roster looked good that you had, but it's 2014. You gotta plan for the future.
Dan, give me your thoughts.
I was going to say, to me, the A's are kind of in a little bit of a treacherous spot now because they seem so overwhelmingly dominant at the rotation. If they don't, if it doesn't happen this year, then what? I think it's almost certainly ratcheting up the pressure even more. To me, the Red Sox are a team that I would look at as a winner because they completely remade their roster and seem now that they're set to be a contender in 2015. They did the exact opposite of what the Phillies did, basically. They got rid of everything, and they brought back a ton of talent. They're not. This is not for them. This is not gonna like for the A's and for the Tigers. Whether they were winners or losers is kind of going to be determined in October. If it doesn't happen this year, then who knows? But I think the Red Sox certainly should be set up for a couple of years off of what they did, and that's the same reason that I would say the Phillies again as the loser because they had an opportunity to do something similar to what Boston did. You would think, and instead they did nothing. Boston. Their roster next year is not going to look anything like it did in April.
I think Boston has one starting pitcher that was in their opening day rotation still on the team. Everybody else is gone.
Wow. It makes perfect sense, and that's I think so many fans of struggling teams want to see something like that happen at the trade deadline. It rarely does.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you guys mentioned Oakland being sort of on paper just an amazing rotation. Would you guys favor them over, just on paper now, over Detroit in an ALCS potential matchup? I think I'm still leaning toward Detroit on the strength of their rotation.
I don't know. I think that has 7 games written all over it, and then
when Justin Verlander is your 5th starter, essentially for the Tigers now, that's saying something.
I think I would have said the A's to begin with, anyhow. And I think their run differential is far and away
and they have the best record in the American League for sure.
Although the Angels are right on their tail now. A's have been slacking a little bit. The Angels have been red hot. I think the Tigers in that series, I might give a little bit of an advantage, if only for the postseason experience of a lot of those guys in that rotation, whereas the A's, especially Jeff Samardzija. Lester certainly, but Jeff Samardzija coming over from the Cubs.
They also brought over Jason Hamill, who's got rocked around Camden Yards for a couple of years, too. Let's not forget that.
Puts the Orioles in a kind of strange spot of being a division leader right now that are being completely ignored, I think, for World Series talk.
Yeah,